So today we're having a look at 151. We're going to have a look at an extensive view of, is it a buyable time? Is it a hold? Should you be selling? We'll kind of go through that. But first, we have got a few bits of news from PokeBeach. Always get their news. Absolutely brilliant. Always on time and very, very efficient. We know that the Ninja Spinner, which is going to be the Mega Greninja set, is apparently will be released in I want to say in Japan. I wanted to say Japanese. It will release in Japan on Friday, March 13th. We first discovered the set name through the trademark last June. It has been a while, meaning there'll be 9 months between its trademark reveal and release. As the name implies, this set will feature Mega Greninja EX. This means our March 2026 set will almost certainly contain the cards from Zero featuring Mega Zygarde EX, the Mega Gallade EX special set, and possibly Ninja Spinner depending on what the release date is. Our set may also contain cards from the starter deck 100 battle collection, which we'll kind of quickly go on to. Depending on how many used in January, obviously that is going to be that. This is the current timetable we got. So Mega Dream EX, which is the Japanese variation, is going to be out on November 28th. That is already on Japan to UK. If I show you that one, that is going to be this one. So obviously right here we've obviously got it at 105, as well as then the Inferno X as well if you are looking for UK based. December 19th is the starter deck 100 battle collection we'll go on to. We have the Mega Zygarde, is it I don't even know how you pronounce that, Zero M3, featuring the Mega Zygarde EX, which obviously is going to be this little thing over here if you have played Legends ZA. We then have the Mega Gallade EX special set. So what they're saying is we could potentially get Zygarde, Greninja, and also potentially the Gallade all in the English variation, as it will come out after. This is going to be January 23rd. March 13th is going to be the Ninja Spinner. We then have Storm Emeralda, which is likely to be Mega Rayquaza, and then Abyss Eye is featuring I'm assuming potentially an Absol, a Darkrai. Seems like a very dark set to go with, so in general going to be very interesting to see. The starter deck, what they're on about is basically we are getting some kind of promo cards, like quite literally a deck that you can get that will have some special foils on them, and naturally it's just going to be another collector's piece for a lot of people with the Dragonite and also the Charizard. So that could be potentially the Y variation, could be coming in English in that set, because at the minute we have got the Mega Dream. I don't think we've got the English confirmed at all yet, so we will see how that goes. We do have the what's his name? Oh my god, where is it? Zekrom. Honestly, I wanted to say Zygarde again. It's because I can't see him, but we have got that as a very blurry picture at the moment. That looking how I can imagine it, with obviously not the blur, that's not how the card will come out, could be incredible. Like we have got very similar with his Reshiram here. I quite like the card. It still needs a bit of colour to pop. Like I feel like as much as they've given it that honor effect, I really would have liked maybe the background to be slightly a darker colour, or maybe even a lighter colour like how it is, but a different colour to really pop the Reshiram. That unfortunately didn't happen, whereas the Zekrom could potentially look pretty cool like that. We also then have got a few more, obviously, a couple of the EXs that we've seen in different Japanese sets, and then also we have got Iona coming back with a killer, it's a Wattrel, I want to say. It's not even a Kilowatt Troll, but in general looks very, very cool. Very popped colour, as we know Iona would be. So it's kind of the news we've got at the moment. We will kind of feature these in as we do go. Stores in the US to begin carrying the Pokemon TCG. Oh my god, okay. So another one throwing themselves in the hat. We also, if you've not seen this, just because I cannot wait for this is obviously the Mega Dream set. We are going to be getting this Gengar as well. I think I did a whole video on this. Look how incredible that will be. But in general, that is not the video. A little bit of news to start with. We now have the 151. Now, in general, this was a very hyped set for anybody my age, to be honest, or anybody older as well, for the nostalgia of base set, of Generation 1. This was obviously the set to really go for. A lot of people really put a lot of time into getting this, and to be honest, the big thing with this set in general was, A, it's a special set, but you could actually get the product way before. Like, I actually opened up an Ultra Premium collection, and I got it for Christmas, and we actually got it at MSRP. We managed to buy it after the release date. And now obviously you can see it has just gone absolutely nuts, as we kind of knew it would. I don't think anybody could have not won on this set, really. We knew it was going to go higher. Obviously the extra hype of just everything on top, from Prismatic, from just literally the sets that came after this, that they just fueled the fire. And I don't think it was directly after this, it was kind of a few sets down the line, kind of like Surgeon was the one where it was like the calm before the storm. You could still get it, and then it just went from strength to strength to strength, and then the hype just absolutely went nuts. Now, if you are looking at kind of boxes and stuff like this, it is all expensive. Like, you do look at like a Zapdos box, realistically you'd be paying, I want to say, about 25 to 30 pounds for it. So you'd be looking at what, about a 35 to $40 market. So it's not crazy up there, but again, it's predominantly because the pack ratio is not there. Realistically, you're looking at like a booster bundle is the one like that. That is £25 on the shelf, 6 packs, beautiful. It's great for a special set, and we just know how that story goes. Like, quite clearly, we are looking, well, I mean, if you are buying it at 103, what we're looking at, like, what, £90, give or take? That is nearly quadruple the value of what they come out as MSRP. As much as I love 151, it's kind of ruined that cycle of it, because I don't know whether we're going to get either any or many more reprints of that. We've had multiple packs. Like, I would have loved to have opened the Blooming Waters. I don't know if we got that in here, but the Blooming Waters would have been incredible to open. Like, it was a massive set. I don't know if it's even on here, actually. Let's go to boosters. Let's go. Oh, we've gone high-low, so it should be at the top, but it could be out of stock. So let's have a look at the bottom. Is not even here. Well, we got the booster packs at $15 a pack, which again is just absolutely nuts. Blooming Waters, it was just a massive box, and it had everything you needed. Like, we literally had all the product in there. Like, we had what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 packs in total. Some nice promos as well. It was an interesting one to see. Now, obviously, that was always going to be a recipe for disaster. It was coming in the midst of all of the hype, and it just got messy with it, to be honest. And I think even then, you look at kind of like your tins and stuff. We had we didn't have it. I think it was in Sam's Club that I heard all of it, where you had, yeah, literally this. It was Sam's Club. The 151 4 mini tin plus 4 promo card bundle. Again, they just went absolutely nuts. So unfortunately, product wise, probably not going to be too crazy on the 151. Like, you look at a display case, which I'm assuming has got what, 1, 2, well, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So is it 6? I mean, I'm reading 4 at the minimum there. I can't even check a different picture. 1, 2, 3. Oh, ignore me. So yeah, so we have actually got 10 booster bundles. I thought I was going mad then. I was like, there's 6. There's quite more than 6 there. A case of 6. So there is going to be 60 booster bundles in a case of it. That is absolutely nuts. So you are looking at a whopping 6.8 thousand of people. 10 grand. Wow. 13.5. Why is that so much more? I'm assuming it's because there's multiple. Oh, okay. I mean, that's okay. I mean, I don't know why you'd be buying that for 13.5 unless there's more. But okay, I mean, that's interesting to see in itself. But regardless, that is absolutely nuts how expensive that is. So that's kind of aside. We know product in general is at an all-time high. I was gutted that we didn't get this mat as well. That mat looks incredible. But naturally, that's really cool as well if you're a Yu-Gi-Oh fan. But naturally, when we do look at the set itself, price-wise doesn't look too crazy. Like genuinely, when we do figure the Charizard now, like, that is the top of the top when it comes to this set. And then we'll have a look at Collector to see what it's actually coming in at in terms of a full set value, as we are seeing a slight dip with it now. I'm assuming everybody that's kind of had their time with it has really now finished it, and the hype is kind of, it's not dying down, but it's most definitely not at its absolute peak with all of the other sets that are out as well now. So we've got this set at 940 at the moment. If you think, so that's 940, this is going to kind of give you 250 of that, taking it down to what, 7 700 on the nose. 750, 950, yeah, about 750 on the nose. Then obviously you've got your big hitters. You've obviously got your Birds, your Blastoise, your Venusaur. They're going to be the, again, more hard hitters. You're looking at nearly 100 each, give or take, obviously. You throw in then a few of the other kind of like baby Pokemon, the Charmander, the Squirtle, and the Bulbasaur, and an SAR for Alakazam. Once you've gone past them, like realistically, you could quite happily get the 151. If we say 700, say we would do it in the hundreds just as an easier math, say 700, 600, 500, 400. Then if we move over, so we go then for 300, and then we look at say, what, so 300, say 250. You could spend 250 for the rest of them and just be missing 8 cards. Give or take, obviously, you might be able to get a cheeky deal with a few of these as well. Doesn't mean that you have to buy the Charizard in absolute mint condition if you want to get it a bit cheaper. Same with the rest of them. Obviously, you want to try and get it as kind of big into that near mint as possible, but if the price is just for the final card and you don't want to spend 250 and it's for the set, I don't think that's really a bad thing. Like, yes, value in the future, you obviously want to get the top of the top, but realistically, when you're looking at cards of hundreds upon hundreds of values, either you wait for a big crash and see where it lies, you can either be spiked or you can do really well. It's kind of that risky game you played. At the moment, we look at, what, 250? You could literally wait a year or two and the hype dies, but that card either stays the same or has grown. So for instance, if we waited a year, 30th anniversary happens, that spikes to 350, 400 because the hype just goes crazy, and then it only drops down in the down market to 300. You've still got to put that 50 on top, so you've technically lost money that you've not spent as such, but you've lost it from when you could have bought it. Again, I'm not necessarily opposed to that. You could even go by the Japanese version. We'll have a look at the prices and the difference there. But when you look at the rest of them, like it's an affordable set if you are looking at one. When you look at all of the sets, it's just not an affordable hobby to collect every set. But if you focus on one at a time, it's most definitely affordable. You look at like a Stellar Crown. It's a perfect example as if you are looking for a master set, if you're looking for a set to collect for cheap, that's coming in at $316 at the moment. It's most definitely affordable to do it over X amount of months. Now, opening packs, little bit different. I just don't think that's going to be possible unless you're spending big bucks on it. Now, if I was just to kind of give it a little once over with the Japanese side of stuff, we have got it coming in. Where is it? Stellar Crown. No, it was a bit before Stellar Crown. We've got... Where is it? I thought it was called 151 as well. Promotional card, Super Legend Breaker. Has it not got it? Or am I missing it somewhere? Starter builds, Shiny Treasure, we know that. Am I missing it or something? I must be missing it. Oh, did it come out that early? It might have actually come out a lot earlier than thingy, but regardless, obviously we've got it here. Price-wise, if I do look at Japan to UK, I want to say it is the only one at the moment that is technically out of stock. We have got it coming in at 151 because we've got Prismatic still, so I'd be ashamed. I don't know actually. Let me go next. Have a look at this price. So it's here. So it is out of stock, and we are looking at 229 at the moment for the box. So obviously, if you are looking for one, it is going to cost you a pretty penny. You've got 180 on here. Whether you're actually going to get that or not, again, eBay is going to be your best friend for that. We can kind of have a look, but you got $9 per pack. But realistically, what we're looking for here is going to be the single side of stuff. So if we go for the high, Charizard unfortunately is around about that sort of price. Then we do have Master Balls in the Japanese side of stuff. There was the Pokeball and Master Balls that really did take off. Like, this was one of the first really hyper sets that had it. We did then get it in Prismatic, and we have had it in black and white as well. So we are starting to see that left, right, and center. But Japanese obviously had it first. We've got 84 for the Blastoise, 77, 76. So realistically, we don't have it much cheaper, to be fair. We've got 49 for the Alakazam. They're actually relatively similar. Now, the only difference you'll have potentially is when you go down slightly. Like, we know the Pikachu is around 40, obviously, in English. The Charmander's 14. It's around about 50 in English as well. So some of the lower IRs will obviously come in cheaper. The Squirtle's coming in a lot cheaper as well. So if you want to mix and match the sets, that's going to be a pretty decent thing to do as well. We've got obviously the Bulbasaurs coming in at 10. We've got a lot of the Master Balls that don't have product, but then you got $9 for the Psyduck. So you can mix and match if you really want, but then if you do want the English, then I can kind of, I get that. I totally understand that you prefer to have one or the other as such, but I like to mix them both as much as possible, just because the cheapness of it then, it's still the same card, it's just a little bit cheaper. But unfortunately, the top boys are going to be that little bit more expensive. And as you kind of come further down, you'll be able to find them cheaper and cheaper. Like we didn't even see Charmeleon on that list, yet it's 36 in English. So if you wanted to get that front page done, you can obviously go ahead, get the English variations for the top 4, and then potentially Japanese for the rest if you really want. I think Alakazam was around the same sort of price. Obviously, we saw Pikachu at, what, 14 or so. So it's very interesting to see where we can go with them. Now, if we are looking at a few of them, so say if we kind of look at a lot of these top-end ones, as well as then look at some of the bottoms, just to see where all these cards are going, because I've noticed that we're seeing a bit more of a downwards trajectory on quite a few of them, or at least they're not necessarily going up, which is absolutely brilliant to see, because it's exactly what we do want to see in these cards. You want to be able to get them at an affordable price. We can start to see the Pikachu, and it seems to be with a lot of product at the minute. We kind of gone through that September hype. It really peaked either early September or from this card kind of like start of October, and now it's starting to go down a little bit. Now obviously we did have a massive peak in summer. If you've not really kind of been in the hobby that long, normally we have start of the year, they tend to just get you back in for the rest of the year. Obviously for Christmas, they're releasing set after set and trying to get you to get either Christmas presents or just buy in that festive period. But summer always seems to be almost like a card show era, where there's just shows everywhere, especially the UK, and everybody's spending on singles rather than ripping packs as such. So there is definitely that lull at the moment. We could have got it down at 24. Did obviously shoot back up, like we say, in September. Normally you'll find that with quite a few of these. There might be some that don't. We've obviously got, again, you'll see that kind of summer dip. It's something to just remember. Now, obviously, with these daily updates, I'll kind of keep the reminder prior to summer to remember that some of these cards, they might go down a considerable amount, like $20 is an interesting dip. Now, we will see another one come kind of later on, but at the minute, it's going to be massive, massive hype. So you've kind of got to get into that mindset now of, do you buy to, if you are looking to sell during the massive hype of the 30th, because after that, that's where I imagine we might to see a bit more of a downwards trend. Whether we do, it's again, it's going to be everybody's game at this point. There's going to be a lot of people saying kind of buy left, right, and center, and then sell at this time. If you are looking like me to just personally collect a set, then you've kind of just got to weigh up your options. Do you wait again for some of the big hitters in that summer? What I'm personally doing at the moment in this time, especially with it kind of going up, I've noticed a lot of cards started to rear its head and started to dip down within these past couple of weeks, is I'll just go and get the cheaper cards first. I'll most definitely more than happy, instead of even going to these pages, start picking up the $4 ones, because realistically it goes down to $2. I'm not too fussed of £2. If it goes up a pound, brilliant. I mean, it's just extra value. It's more for the set, if anything. So collecting all the EXs, getting all the common cards, even as far to say as getting all the reverse hollows, you can get all of that ready prior to then kind of buying into more of the $10, $20 cards and waiting for them to either come down, or you can just wait it out and just start to get more of the common side of stuff completely wrapped up. If it's A specs, if it's obviously any of the EXs, the Vs, if you're looking Sword and Shield, start to get them. Some of the gold cards are not necessarily crazy value, so you could potentially just start ahead and go and get them, because realistically, you look at the year of this, you've obviously got a downwards trajectory, but realistically in a year, you were looking at 6. I'm not really that fussed of £3-4 of a loss in a year. Like it's a set orientated card. You're not really buying a gold switch to invest in as such. Like, I mean, that would be a very silly one to try and look at. Naturally, I've got the Venusaur, so I always like to look at this one. It was a little bit of a downwards trend there, but we are still back up on this one. And to be honest, I'm not too worried of this Venusaur, because it is a very nice card in itself. Like, it's definitely one of the better Venusaurs we've got. And until we see, like in the Lucario one, where it's a more favoured feature, you're not really going to see too much of a damage with this one. If only, it might kind of almost bump it up that little bit more, especially with less and less. And I love this Blastoise. This reminds me so much of the Dark Blastoise. It's got that same imagery. It is absolutely beautiful. So I can kind of get the pricing. Again, we went down to the 50s. We're now at 76 at a top end of 82, which is, again, absolutely nuts. And we'll see, this is obviously lightly played as well. The holo foil itself is at 77, so there isn't necessarily too much massive difference between LP and near mint. Moderately played might be a little bit on the lower end, which is fair enough for more of a modern card. We then have the same here, obviously 73 at the moment. We're coming in at 70 for the lightly played, and again we saw a big dip in that middle of summer. I think most of these cards will have that same kind of graph really. We saw the big hype in March during Prismatic. Naturally everything went through the roof, and then we kind of saw a slight decrease as, like most things, the hype had to go down a little bit, and then we're starting to see a bit of an increase coming out of summer, and then back down a little bit for the Christmas period, where people are probably just going on to new sets. Sometimes that can happen. So I do think when you do look at some of the cards, like realistically, you look at this Alakazam, you think it's a great card. It's obviously an SAR within the set. It's a beautiful art design as well. You could potentially see, like, we got to the 57s. We got to, what's just shy of 60. We're now down at 44 for the near mint. Realistically, its lowest was 36 in this year period. Is it worth potentially risking that that $8 as such? So if you can get it at around about, if you could look at potentially 40, maybe into the very high 30s, I think that would be a solid pickup for Alakazam. I think I'd be quite happy to, you know, it's not going down to a 10-20 anytime soon, and potentially the more that it happens, and if we don't get any restock or reprints with 151, it only then kind of elevates as such. So I think that is a wonderful one to say in itself. Obviously then the Wartortle didn't really hit too much. It's obviously more of a collector's piece. Theme pages are going to love it. Blastoise and Squirtle line collectors are going to love it as well, but you don't necessarily need it too much. So hype wise, we kind of saw that big up, but realistically, again, we're like looking at 40 at its absolute peak. We're only at 30 at the moment for the near mint. I don't think it's that crazy in a difference that I'd be too worried about it. Full arts are always interesting. They seem to really have spikes up and down. They normally are considerably lower, so seeing the Mew at 21 at the moment, I'd possibly move away from it. I'd be looking realistically in that 10 to 15 zone more so than anything. Now, naturally, it's got that cutesy vibe. It's a bright pink kind of card as well. Whether that's enough in the cutesy collector sort of vibe is really pushing this card, I don't really think it will. I naturally will see that drop down a little bit more. Same as the Blastoise, we're going to see this drop down. You can kind of see it all the way up at 20. A full art doesn't stay at 20 unless it's like got some sort of unique design on it. It's always going to come down. Full arts are just not... They're not valuable over the time. I really like them, but they are more a set piece rather than a collector's piece. Now, this is definitely a collector's piece. That Machoke is stunning. That mixed with the Sword and Shield variation. I want to say Astral Radiance for the Machamp. The Machamp is a brilliant card, very much like the Alakazam, in fact, in the kitchen sort of thing. But this is a brilliant card for how cheap it is. I mean, this is an easy collector's piece in there. Like, yes, you can invest in it if you want, but you've got your Pidgeys, your Machokes, you've obviously got a Meowth on the side. I think this is a great design, personally, for me. So, any sort of, like, what, $10, you're looking at, what, like an £8 card? I would say that's worth every penny, to be honest. It's one that I definitely would be looking to pick up in the masses. Like, it's such a lovely card in itself. Nidoking, I know we've had a few variations of Nidoking now, and I haven't really liked any of them, to be honest. Nidoking's a funny one. We'll kind of have a look at it at the end, but I just don't really rate the card massively, so I'd be looking as cheap as possible. Like, I see this as like a £5 card more than anything. It's kind of in that illustration for a favorite Pokemon for some people, maybe not majorly favorite, but it's definitely got some legs on it, but it's not necessarily the biggest one. Whereas like Tangela, again, maybe not the favorite Pokemon for everybody, but it's a great design. It's a pretty cool swing Pokemon. Obviously you've got the backgrounds, the colors are there. Again, it's going to be relatively cheap, so I would say looking at it right now, pretty decently. Looking at what, $7 for near mint. I'd say if you can find it at £3, £4, £5, you're into an absolute winner there. Same with the Omni-Knight. Obviously you've got Kabuto, Omni-Knight, Omnistar as well, all in there, and then even a couple of the fossils that are just some extra. I like the design. Kabuto could look a little bit better if you wanted to kind of move one over a little bit. One swimming would be really cool design. You've got one down here as well. But naturally, another cheaper card more than anything. Another £3 to £4 card that I'd probably be picking these up at, and that would be as cheap as I'd be going. But if we was looking at the Nidoking, I know we've obviously got the Team Rocket one. Again, not a fan favorite of mine personally. There's just not really anything other than like the base set and Gym Challenge. They were my two personally. Aquapolis and the Secret Rare were nice. Weren't necessarily, again, my favorite. I do like the Team Rocket's Nidoking. I definitely don't think it's worth 120, but I would say I'm kind of looking a bit older for these. Like, yes, the Nidoqueen and Giovanni's, absolutely, and then you kind of illustration wise haven't really seen too much. I really like the full art more so than anything, and then obviously you've got your evolutions, always quite nice. I'm not a big fan of the breakpoint cards, or the two halves wasn't necessarily my thing. And then we've kind of just been waiting. So I'm hoping we do end up with a nice one. This is probably one of the better ones, actually. Steam Siege, of all sets to go through, a very different sort of colouring design. It looks more crayon design more so than anything. So very interesting to see. But that is going to be 151 for today. Quite interesting to see the prices drop for a lot of these. Obviously, like I say, full arts are going to be the first things that I would be looking at as a cheaper sort of price. They are all on the absolute down, and then you kind of work your way through. But like I say, you can get most of this set at the moment at around about 250 to 300, depending on where you're getting your deals. And then really, it's the final 8 cards. That's all you've got to get. So to get into a master set of this is a nice one to get into. If you're putting all your eggs in one basket, I really like the designs on a lot of 151, and like I say, you can still find many other sets that are coming in quite cheap. A Stellar Crown is quite cheap. We look at Shrouded Fable at about 500, give or take. If then we saw like a Temporal Forces, you're looking at 600. So there is definitely cheaper sets out there. I just think as a iconic set, this is going to be one of the cheaper ones that you can find, with SARs, illustration rares, and some very heavy hitters that will do pretty well over the long haul. So let me know down below, where are you at with your master set? I think I am currently 151, 82% of the way through. Leave your comments down below, and I'll catch you all for the next one. Peace.